obviously wasn't happy. It, like, obviously wasn't working. We were together a total of 9 years. It's not that I didn't try to make it work, but, like, that's not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, at some point, like, you got to get honest with yourself, like, you're living a lie. Like, that's not who I am. Like, and I could still be sober, and I could still, you know, enjoy and, you know, my sexual parts and my sexuality without, like, having to feel like I'm sinning. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, once I got a divorce, like, you know, just kind of opened up the gates a little bit, you know? And then I started to experiment a little bit more and dig in and find out more about the lifestyle and stuff like that.
So, okay. So, see, so, like, you said you had your first threesome when you was in high school, you said?
Yeah. Literally, that's how I lost my virginity.
Was it, what, 2 guys or 2 girls?
2 guys. My boyfriend and his best friend.
Okay, was it your idea or your boyfriend's idea?
I lost the bet.
Oh, shit. What, can you explain the bet to everybody? Can you explain the bet to me?
What?
Can you explain the bet to me?
I mean, we literally, it was stupid. We were teenagers, and we made it like a stupid bet. And I was like, all right, like, me and my boyfriend had already been, like, messing around, like, hardcore, but we just hadn't, like, you know, followed through with everything yet. And, you know, like, it was, like, a weird, like, little triangle thing going on. Anyway, long story short, like, I don't remember what the actual bet was, but, it resulted in me losing my virginity to the 2 of them, so.
Okay. And,
yeah.
okay, interesting. And you was, like, how old at the time?
I was a few months shy of 13.
Okay. Do you remember your body count after you graduated, after you left high school or middle school, or was it extremely high?
It was high.
Okay. If you had to guess, can you tell us? Can you tell me?
I have no idea. No idea.
Wow. So it was over. Yeah. Was it over 50 before you left middle school?
Before middle school? No, I don't think so. Maybe into high school. By the time I was like 16, I was like over 100. So, you know, like I said, you know, before I got sober at 19, I was fucking wild. You know what I'm saying? I don't even honestly know how I lived through most of the shit that I did, but I did, and here we are. You know, so I couldn't even give you a fucking list of people if I tried. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, I was in a constant blackout from like the age of like 15 to 19.
what kind of drugs was you on?
I mean, I was a garbage head. I mean, pretty much everything. It was hard to get alcohol, but you know, I did like a lot of acid, ecstasy, coke, and then eventually after I got arrested for distribution, because that was a thing in high school, then I had eventually turned to heroin because I was on fucking probation and all that shit. And heroin gets out of your system faster than even, you know, than everything, pretty much. So I had a short stint with that, but I'm a little OCD, so I feel like thank God I have a good head on my shoulders, like when it comes to shit like that, like when it comes to practicing safe sex, when it comes to, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, I've always been grounded when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I chose to never use needles, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I honestly, truly, I could say to this day, like, I feel like if I ever used a needle and injected myself with heroin, I'd probably be dead. You know what I'm saying? Just because I know myself well enough to know that, like, I would just keep going until I was in the ground, you know? But, you know, thankfully, like, I have, you know, a good family, and I have a lot of family who is in recovery, and, you know, I have my mom who kind of, you know, did the whole tough love thing, and, you know, it kind of forced me to, like, go into rehab and, you know, make some decisions I wasn't really ready to make, I guess, but, you know, as I was there, like, in rehab drying out, because I went to live in, like, a long-term facility, for, like, 4 months I was there, but when I walked in, like, if you told me there was a way to escape, I would have done it, you know what I'm saying? But when I walked out of there, like, I knew that, like, if I were to use, I was gonna die, you know what I'm saying? It's just that simple.
Right.
So I'm grateful for it. Like, listen, I'd rather have gone through that in my formative years than, like, you know, than struggle throughout my entire adulthood like my brother does. You know what I'm saying?
So, how long you been sober?
I got sober in 2000. So.
Okay, that's good. And how old you is now?
42.
Okay, you still fairly young, though, relatively young.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about your parents, though? Did you have a father growing up, mother growing up, or?
I mean, of course, yeah. I mean, my parents were together until I was about 10. That's when they divorced. My dad, all four of my grandparents are an alcoholic. My dad's an alcoholic. My dad almost killed me when I was 1. He like knocked down the door on my crib and almost crushed me. So he got sober after that happened, but he was never really sober. He was just dry. So he was still extremely fucking abusive. Like, he beat the shit out of all of us. He was, verbally, emotionally, and physically abusive to every single one of us, me, my mom, and my brother.
Did your father ever
my mom is...
Did your father like touch you, or when you say abusive, or?
No, just like beat us,
Okay. Well, excuse me.
I only had one incident when I was like 14, when I snuck out one night and I was walking through the park and I got attacked in the park, but I beat the shit out of him because I used to take jiu-jitsu. So, that was that.
So hold on, repeat that again. It was breaking up.
I said somebody tried to assault me in a park, but I used to jiu-jitsu and I beat the shit out of him and got away. So
right.
I've never had to deal with any kind of sexual assault or abuse or anything like that. So.
Do you feel like because of your troubled childhood, that turned you to sex and drugs?
No, I honestly yes. I mean, like, my childhood was a little rough, but I don't think rougher than like an average American fucking family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but like in the 80s when I grew up, that was the average. Like, our parents were dysfunctional. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I look at it like, I feel that addiction is a hereditary disease. You know what I'm saying? That it really doesn't have, make a difference on what your nature influences. It's all genetics. You know what I'm saying? It's predispositions before you're even born, whether or not you're going to be an addict. It's just up to you whether you make that choice of being somebody who is a recovering addict or somebody who's going to live in that hell forever.
Right. But, I mean, I hate to say this, but based off that and statistics, though, that was kind of like you was part of a statistic of divorce. A divorced child, usually that's what they fall into, a wild sexual pattern and drugs, alcohol, based off that and statistics.
Yeah. I mean, but the nature of the situation isn't what determined that. I mean, I already had a problem predisposition before my parents even really were living in separate dwellings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what I'm trying to explain to you is that, like, yeah, like, how we grow up, like, of course it helps shape us to a degree, but when you have predisposition genetics, like, you can't change that. You know what I'm saying? The only thing you can do is treat it.
We'll agree to disagree. I mean, I don't. Yeah, we'll agree to disagree. How did you get in the porn industry?
So about 2 years ago, like I said, I was like throwing parties. I was a swinger, and one of my friends, Steve, started dating this girl, Genesis, who had an OnlyFans page, and she's the one who convinced me to start OnlyFans. So I started an OnlyFans, like I said, just to like try to stop having to drive Uber at night. And shortly after I had started that, I had met this girl, Savannah, and her boyfriend, Savvy, at the time, now husband. And she's like, you know what? She's like, I really think that you would appreciate the business side of this. And she's, I would really love it if you came to a shoot house with me so I can show you how independent creators do it. I was like, all right, fuck it, let's go. So I went with her, and of course, like I said, like, I'm a businesswoman, so, making money while I sleep is always going to be something that's going to be an incentive to me. So, I started, jumping on board pretty much, and she's like, you need to come to Exotica and come to the shoot house that Jay is hosting, and then went down there, and pretty much, like, that's what happened. That's where it started. So.
And what kind of work were you doing before you jumped in the porn industry?
So I've always been in supply chain. So up until about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was a buyer for an aerospace company.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, but I've always been a buyer of some sorts, or in the operation channel, like running the operations department, managing, account management, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so you jumped in the porn industry in your 40s. Okay, interesting. Is the porn industry everything you thought it was, or is what you like and dislike about it?
I mean, I'm not mainstream, so I do things independent. So what I experience is going to be different than what maybe another model experiences.
Right.
So, but as an independent model, I'm the one who gets to make the decisions on who and what I shoot. So my experiences are always going to be good because I'm the one who fucking chooses them. You know what I'm saying? They're what I want. So, like, I don't have to ever really, like, worry about any of that,
Okay. What you like and dislike about the industry, or?
I guess what I dislike is the dishonesty amongst the industry. A lot of fake people, But what I love about it is that it's a $400 billion and there's enough for everybody to eat.
Okay. So that's the fakeness. Okay. Can you go in a little bit more details about the fakeness, though? Like,
No, I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? People are fair weather. So, like, okay, like, there's a lot of people who, like, it's like, you're not going to be fucking sharing your deepest, darkest secrets with these people. You know what I'm saying? You're there to work with them. You have to remember, like, even though it's, like, a social kind of setting, like, that you're meeting and filming these people in, it's still a professional. You know what I mean? And some people forget that, and it's just like I said, like a lot of people, they talk shit, a lot of people, whatever. It's just, it is what it is. It's just human nature, I guess, really. But,
right.
A lot of people in this industry, you got to understand, are about their bag. Like, you know what I mean? And when people are about their bag, like people are about their bag in this industry, like, that's all they really care about. So, like, everything above and beyond that, like, you may think that there's an alliance or a friendship, like, but you still got to be guarded. You know what I mean?
So what do you do like about the industry then?
Say what?
I said, what you like about the industry?
I mean, there's a lot of things I like about it. Like, I mean, like I said, I like making money. I like, the whole business end of it. I obviously enjoy fucking, so I enjoy filming. I love networking and hosting events and stuff like that because I love doing that. That's like one of my, like, that's one of my things. You know what I mean? I've always done really, really well with, like, hosting events. And, I just like the fact that it's a way to make money without having to work for somebody else,
Basically, you don't like working a 9 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, I just stopped literally 5 weeks ago. You know what I mean? I've been working for 42 years, 9 to 5, for somebody else.
Right, I mean,
I wanted to be able to do something more than that,
Do you feel like you basically sold your soul being like a porn star?
No, not at all.
What's the difference between having sex on camera and off camera with these people, or?
Well, I don't really have sex off camera with these people because we're working. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of hard to answer that question because that's not my nature with these people.
Okay, is porn like the same way on camera or off camera? Is what I guess I'm trying to say.
No, it's not. Everything depends. I mean, it depends who you're shooting for, what you're shooting for, what kind of scene you're doing. I mean, who's producing it, what angles they want to hit. Like, somebody might want 10 different angles. It could take hours, you know what I'm saying? But somebody might just want to go gonzo and you could just do whatever the fuck you want and you could be done in 20 minutes, You just don't know. It just depends,
Okay. What's the most you ever got paid for a scene?
800.
Okay. Okay. What scene? What's the scene that you won't do,
Anal.
and why?
My doctor said no.
Okay. 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 Let's see. You won't do. What's your favorite scene you like?
42. I got hemorrhoids. No more anal.
Okay. What's your favorite scene you like to do?
Say what?
I said, what's your favorite scene you like to do?
I don't really have one favorite scene. I enjoy making like cuck videos,
Oh wow.
like a little bit of, yeah, like cuck stuff.
And for everybody who,
Obviously, I love interracial porn.
oh, so you love black guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see yourself marry a black guy?
I'm sorry?
Can you see yourself marrying a black guy?
I mean, I'm not against it. I married a Filipino, and my last 3 relationships were black men.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I don't really see race like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people are people. That's just how I was raised, you know?
How long you was married?
I was married for a total of 6 years, together with him for 9 years, divorced in 2009.
So when you got married in 2003?
Yep.
Okay. That was your first marriage? How many times you been married?
Yeah, that was my first and only marriage. I was 22.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was the statistic. Average marriage lasts less than 5 to 7 years. So, okay. Okay. So, cool. You said like black guys. Okay. Do you feel like black men are better than white men in bed because of their dick size?
I think that it's a really hard answer to give. I think it's hard to stereotype people. There's a lot of white men who have big dicks, and there's a lot of white men who can fuck. So I feel like it's not fair to say that. You know what I mean? If you want to look at the percentage of men who have the biggest dicks across the board, is it black men? Absolutely. Compared to every other race, 100%. You know what I'm saying? So is it a higher probability that I'll enjoy, sleeping with a black man because of the size of his penis? Probably. But it doesn't mean that a lot of the white men in the industry can't offer the same thing.
What's the difference between lust and love? What's the difference between lust and love?
I mean, that's really, it's like lust is just something physical, right? Like lust is something that you want, a sexual yearning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And love is above and beyond that. Like, you know what I mean? Love is everything. It's all encompassing. It's unconditional. 2 completely different things.
Okay. Do you feel like you've been loved before?
Of course.
Okay. And for everybody listening, a cuck means somebody is having sex in front of you and they watching, or they join in, or they just watch. I don't know.